So one of our first challenges in getting to better results and better relationships in these crucial conversations is not fixing the other person. That's not this course. If you were waiting for a class that was going to help you fix all those other people, keep looking. The first person that we're going to focus on is us, and trying to make sure that we come into this conversation in a way that is more likely to get us to a better outcome. One of the best ways to think about this is to think back to a real conversation you've had. This could be a conversation with the barista at the local coffee shop, with a colleague or a family member. It's got to be a conversation that didn't go so well, where either you didn't say what you really meant or what you said just didn't work, but you walked away from it feeling really frustrated. Take a moment and see if you can think of a conversation like that. Stick to just one for right now, but if any of you need ideas, you can come right over here. He'll be happy to help you. If you've got an idea about what that conversation was, I want you to think back for a minute about some of the specific things that you said, literally the words that came out of your mouth and the words that came out of the other person's mouth. That's what I want you writing down on the right-hand column on page 24. I want you to write the script for this conversation, literally as though you were going to have one of your favorite directors film this conversation for posterity. What were the words that came out of your mouth? What were the words that came out of the other person's mouth? How about you just take a moment on the right-hand column on page 24, start documenting what was actually said by you and the other person. Let's pause on the right-hand side and think about the other part of the conversation. Because we know that when we're having conversations, it's not just our mouths that are in action. Our brain is doing all sorts of stuff. And I'm betting if that was a conversation that left you frustrated, there may have been all sorts of things you were thinking or feeling, but not really saying out loud in that conversation. I want you to take a look back at that right-hand column on page 24. And then the left-hand column, I want you to start jotting down some notes about what you thought or felt but didn't say during that conversation. So it's like documenting the thought bubbles that were over your head during the conversation. By the way, some of the stuff in that left-hand column may not be appropriate to share with your mother, grandmother, religious leader, or teachers. That's okay. You're not going to be asked to talk about it out loud, okay? But take just a moment, get some of that stuff down in that left-hand column. This tends to go really quickly. Some of those responses come back to us really fast. So I'm curious. You don't have to repeat exactly what was in your left-hand column, because I think some of you may have some scary things there. But I'm curious, if you look at some of the things that you thought or felt but didn't say, what types of things are showing up in your left-hand column?
Resentment.
Resentment. Okay, so words that kind of express resentment or an emotion around resentment. What else is showing up there? Yeah.
Insecurity about how the other person is.
So a little bit of focus in on what's going on. Are they trusting in me? Are they questioning or doubting me? Yeah. Offer more.
It could just make me so mad.
That's when you start to notice the page is beginning to smoke there. Let's go to Periwinkle. Yeah.
Blame.
Oh. So something along the lines of, look, if you had just done what you were supposed to do, this wouldn't be a problem right now. I'm going to come here and then there. Oh, so you're starting to talk about that other person inside of your head. Which, by the way, I don't mean to put you on the spot. We all do it. I have a robust left-hand column. Offer me one more.
Fear.
Fear. A little bit about fear of not getting to the right outcomes, not seeing the kind of relationship in the future, losing something that's important. We're back to that notion of high stakes. So folks, here's kind of an advanced question. If you know that you've got all this stuff going on in your left-hand column, I want you to take a look back at your right-hand column. Did you notice any impact from what was going on in your left-hand column, the stuff you were thinking and feeling, on the way that the conversation actually went? What impact did your unspoken thoughts and feelings have on how that conversation worked out? What did you notice? Oh, interesting. So the more that you felt like you were being closed out of the conversation, the more resentful you felt, the less willing you might have been to try and weigh into that conversation?
Yes.
Hearing a little bit of that. Thank you for sharing that. Well, what's another? Yes, ma'am. And so when you got accusatory, did you notice that the other person responded in any way? What were they
I
doing?
think they said, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Okay, so literally, you're trying so hard not to say these scary things inside your head, and yet somehow they're leaking out. I mean, and it's important that we recognize kind of the script inside of our heads, because it is true in our crucial conversations, if we don't deal with that script, it's going to leak out of us. And no matter how hard we try to spackle over all those emotions in our left-hand column and pretend that everything's fine, or slap on a coat of smile over everything, what we're really thinking, what we're really feeling is likely to leak out. So friends, I don't want you walking away from here thinking that you've got to pretend to be nice to get through a crucial conversation. I do want to talk about how we can maybe do a little bit of emotional management that'll keep us focused on getting to a better outcome. Thank you.